Killer clowns from outer space came down.
A giant crocodile ate my nuts.
Ooh.
Welcome to StoopidMovies, where we watch them so you don't have to.
This week, we're watching something you should watch.
Absolutely.
Because this week we watched Fear Street.
The trilogy.
All three parts.
Yep.
We're treating it as one movie. So 1994, 1978, and 1666. All three, we are calling them Fear Street.
Fear Street.
Just a single movie. Just came out. Part 3 just dropped last week.
Yep.
So 2021.
Netflix.
For people watching this far in the future.
Yep.
It was directed by Lee Janiak. Starring Kiana Madeira, I don't know. Olivia Scott, something. Benjamin Floor, his name's cut off.
Benjamin Flores
Yep.
Jr.
Julia Raywald, Maya Hawke. It had a gigantic cast. Fear Street is the story of the curse put on Shady Side by Sarah Fear, who was a witch, and they cut her hand off. And really, it is about this curse where she will occasionally turn someone into a serial killer.
So what happened in this movie?
I just did that. I literally just did that.
Well, we like slasher movies. We like some supernatural stuff. We like 80s stuff. We like some 70s stuff.
We like stuff that happens at lakes.
Yeah. We like camps. And we like R.L. Stein. What did we like about this 3-part series?
You know, and I think that's not to be understated. I really do like R.L. Stein. I mean, granted, most of his work is for a younger audience than me, but there's something comforting about going back and rereading it. This was R.L. Stein not doing kids stuff. This is like a rated R, NC-17 R.L. Stein book. I mean,
yeah.
It is ramped up to 11. Boy, those first two. The first one especially, because I went into it expecting, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Right. Basically.
And nothing against Are You Afraid of the Dark, because that holds a happy memory for me too.
Right.
But I was expecting that. And dude, that chick went through a meat slicer, and it did not cut away. And there was blood like everywhere. And I was like, oh shit, this is not the Are You Afraid of the Dark I was expecting.
Nope. And that scene literally made me say, holy shit. And, the second one, 1978, had a lot of kills too. And it all looked great. The makeup effects, the special effects across the board were all really good. Practical. It was great.
I liked the story a lot. The twists it took at the end I thought were really cool. The twist at the end of this was really, really good. There was a little bit of foreshadowing of it in 78. For the most part, it felt honest. It felt natural. And I really liked the story as a whole. The way it played out was so cool to me.
The nostalgia feeling from the first two, they hit the 90s vibe.
You're not nostalgic for the 1600s?
No, no, not at all. But the 90s, they nailed that with the aesthetic, the stuff they had in their B. Dalton bookstore, the books they had in there, just everything, the lighting.
The fashion, the language.
The fashion. The lighting had that blue and red and kind of that, not so much neon, but it's fluorescent.
Like mall fluorescent,
yeah.
Yes.
And it felt like the 90s. It was just great. In 1978, they hit that camp slasher. It felt like Friday the 13th kind of, and the coloring and all that of that too. The lighting went for more orange and, kind of more duller light, which fit perfectly. And, the tropes, the cliches, everything, and all three were really good.
And even I would say 1666, it felt very genuine with the lighting and the color tones that they used, more of a drab palette.
Drab gray,
yeah.
Dark, the more black and, not black and white, but, just that darker kind of.
I thought that worked really, really well for it. The cast was across the board good. There was not a single bad person in here. I really liked how the cast from 1994 played similar parts but different characters in 1666.
Yeah, the acting was great by everybody.
Spot on.
Yeah, some familiar faces. You get a few from Stranger Things and Sadie Sink and Maya Hawke. That's always cool. And the characters were good. I mean, everything about this, it was smooth. I mean,
it's a Netflix production. So if you have seen Netflix originals, you know what you're getting. This is high quality.
Oh, and I like the killers too. I like the
Oh shit!
I look the look of the okay. In '94, it was kind of a skull mask, kind of very reminiscent of Scream, and the shout outs they give to classic horror movies.
Yes,
influences. Camp One's kind of the Friday the 13th Part 2 look with
the
the
burlap sack. Yeah.
I mean, like, it was more supernatural in 1666, where it was about the curse and the witch stuff.
But then 94 Part 2, where they have all of the killers starting to converge. I mean, a lot of those killers were on for just a very short, 10, 15 seconds. There wasn't a lot. But each one of them, I was like, I could watch a whole movie about this.
These soundtracks.
Holy shit!
And the scores in these movies were flipping fantastic. In the 90s, you get 90s music, and the scores got that slasher scores, the 80s scores, and 78 you get the music. It was great. Not so much there wasn't a lot from them, but that's fine because it fit with
all the banging hits from 1666.
But yeah, it was great.
No, 94 and 78 had phenomenal soundtracks.
Right. Pacing overall was pretty good, especially in the first. The pacing in 94 was freaking. Boom!
Oh man,
it was great
the whole way.
Yeah, 78 was good too. Slows down a little bit because it kind of goes to that late 70s, early 80s. But it works real well. Yeah, and then 1666 was very slow for the first half, but it fit with what was going on. But it's all backstory. It's all that exposition building up to what you're going. Yeah. Now, if that was the first movie, I don't think that would have worked good.
I feel like, why don't we deal with that in our dislikes?
Yeah, so what did we not like about the 3 Fear Streets?
Okay, so 1666 was important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pivotal to the story.
Everything of the whole story pivots off of 1666. That's the exact way to put it. It was pivotal. I would have liked to have seen them spread that explanation out better. Because it really was. The 1666 episode, the first half was 1666, second half was 1994. That first half was nothing but an info dump. Here is all of the information you need to know. And they just, all at once. And I would have loved to have seen that spread out because there is such a cool story there.
Yeah.
But trying to absorb it in this little, one half of 1/3 of the series. I don't know how you would do it different. But it needed to be done different. They needed that story spread out a little bit more and given in pieces.
Yeah. I will say 1666 was probably my least favorite of the 3.
Yeah.
Even though it is must watch in the series, I mean, you have to. It has all that stuff that's critical.
Nothing makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And it's good. It's just, I'm not a fan of time period, period pieces. Not at all. I mean, unless it's the 80s. The gore wasn't much in the last part. No. There's some, but it kind of went away from the slasher stuff, which, they did so well in the first 2. And there really wasn't much of that at all in most of the final one. It kind of, when they go back to 94.
A little bit.
I don't know. I get it, and it makes sense. But for it to go all supernatural, I was like, come on. Dude. Adam, what is your complete thoughts on Fear Street 1, 2, and 3?
I had a blast. This was so much fun. I went into it expecting the wrong thing and was happily surprised. Usually you go in with an expectation and it's not met and you're kind of disappointed. Had it been what I thought it was going to be, I would have had fun. What it actually was amazing. Miniseries we've never done, but we do out of 12. So, you know what? I'm going to give it an 11.5 out of 12. 1666 dragged it down a little bit for me, but not enough to ruin that score. And this is almost a perfect movie.
So I was excited for these because I never read the books, but I knew what they were. I knew they were kind of teen, light, horror, that stuff. But when I saw that it was going to be rated R for blood, strong blood, violence, all that, I was like, all right, cool, I'll definitely check these out. I loved it. I loved 94, I loved 78, and 1666 was decent. Great acting, great atmospheres, great scores, great music. They nailed each time period perfectly. They wrapped the story up that was sufficient and satisfying. The pacing was pretty good overall. Drags a little bit there in the last one. The kills were great. I mean, that bread slicer kill was fantastic. It's just a lot of fun. I don't understand why people don't like it. I'm going to go just a smidge lower than you, only because 1666, that first half, bored me to death. It's pivotal, critical, I get it, but just So I'm going to go 11 out of 12 as a whole. So have you seen Fear Street Trilogy? Let us know in below. Like, subscribe, all that horse baloney. And let us know what you thought. What was your favorite segment or part? If you like what we're doing, talking, sweating, all that stuff. Woo, man.
Hot.
Head over to Facebook.com/StoopidMovies, Instagram @StoopidMovies. You can email us at StoopidMovies@Outlook.com. Let's go down to Fear Street together.
Yeah.
Woo!
Hey, you know what? Before we go, paint your penis up like different time periods. Take a picture and send it to Rob. I don't know how that would work, but I'm just kind of curious.
Maybe the colors of each segment.
Yeah. Do like neon, and then like greenish, and then like sepia. If your penis is sepia, see a doctor.
Oh, I sepia what you did.
Wait a minute. You don't like period pieces?
I don't want to know what you're going to say.
Well, you liked ginger snaps?
Yeah. The first one.
Yeah.
Shut up.
It's about a girl having her period.
Oh, good
I'm
grief.
sorry, I had to.
Who doesn't like that movie?
Weirdos.